Hello everyone and welcome back to the H3H3 Productions YouTube channel. Ethan will be stepping away for a while. So I, Tarded Jerker, will be taking over the channel. Subscribe to endorse the carpet bombing of the moon people. Frankly, I think they deserve it. I know you guys all agree. In Minecraft, of course.
This is Minecraft, and this is Minecraft's moon, which we're gonna blow up.
So as you guys know, Ethan Klein has been a very talked about person on this channel. The last few videos I've made about him have been less negative overall, and the reason for that is that the stuff people are calling him out for is not that I care about, it's that like lefty Redditors care about, because he managed to attract a decent amount of that audience over the past 2 years, and you know what? It's kind of his doing. Honestly, it is, because he catered to those people for a bit, but the criticisms they have of him are so fucking stupid, and I feel like when I see it, I have no choice but to call it out, all right? And what we're talking about here is this exact same trend continuing, make no mistake. So Ethan has this thing on his live podcast called The Button. He apparently spent $20,000 on this button, which has the ability to delete the last 30 seconds of the on-the-air footage in real time before it airs. This would allow him to say crazy stuff on live or stuff that might make him look bad and make insensitive jokes, and then he still has time to delete it before it airs if he has like an instant regret moment that he needs to get rid of. But apparently the button had a bit of a failure recently, leading to a portion of his audience being very mad over him supposedly abusing his employee, being a piece of shit to his employee live on the air. Wow, abusing employees? That's my favorite pastime. This clip better not disappoint, guys.
We got 10 minutes. Do we watch this?
Like I have this new
Final
clip thing where,
words
like I have a Discord and people,
me.
like people that of course they can use they get access to
Why
it.
Cover most of
We're
it.
doing it.
What
You're
are
making
you
it
doing?
so awkward and terrible.
I'm sorry, I'm not.
Just like this is what I'm talking about when it's always like.
We need to get home for our kids.
It's like, bro.
Oh no, I didn't want to finish it right now. I'm about finishing
On
Wednesday.
Friday, maybe. Is it?
You guys, like,
All right, I'm taking my hand off.
Wow, I mean, that's just disgusting. It's so disgusting I'm out of breath. I mean, he told his employee that he wanted to go home to his kids, so he didn't have enough time to watch this next video all the way through, and he told the guy that he had done something wrong there, and he didn't like that he did that. I mean, wow, it's nasty, it's disgusting, it's absolutely foul, man, okay? Frankly, I'm personally unsubscribing from the H3 podcast right now.
Well, I'll just explain myself then. Like, it's like, you know, first of all, I appreciate the hard work.
I know you
you've
do.
done, and I loved it, and I really enjoy it. But it's like every time we do it, it's like the show is what it is, and
I know.
it makes it.
I was being selfish.
No, fuck it, dude. That button fucked me, dude.
Wow, so you're telling me not only did he do that, he tried to hide that he abused his employee? I mean, it's just disgusting, right? Like, this guy, how's this guy even have a YouTube channel at this point? Come on, guys, what are we doing here? And thankfully, some users on the YouTube drama subreddit agreed with my outrage and decided to call this out. Ethan's lack of respect for his employees is disgusting. He couldn't even defend himself. Imagine what he says off camera. People who think that this is normal workplace talk should seek out better opportunities. Being an employer gives no one the right to belittle, demean, or mistreat you, privately or publicly. Literally, it legit makes me so sad when people see shit like this and go, I don't know what everyone's complaining about. This is normal. Like, damn, bitch, you live like this? I'm not even trying to be snarky. I genuinely hope it gets better for y'all. And thankfully, they went deeper on this, okay, to point out that not only is Ethan in support of abusing his employees, but he also supports genocide. Klein is an ex-IDF soldier who personally requested to switch to a field team that raids and murders innocent Palestinian civilians in the West Bank, an area with zero Hamas presence, because she found her original post boring. Wow. I mean, it sounds to me like this is true. It sounds to me like Hila is Jewish Hitler, and frankly, she needs to be called out. Ethan cried on stream because Hassan Abi pointed out the fact that he's a genocide-supporting weirdo, and said chat was being mean to him because he couldn't openly support genocide the way he wanted to. To find out he bullies his staff after all of that is unsurprising. These trash cans shouldn't have a platform. Wow, what a brutal insult, trash cans. And what's funny about this kind of interpretation, if you actually watch the H3 podcast, is like, I have no stake in this conflict of H3, sorry, not H3 versus Palestine. I have no stake in this conflict of Israel versus Palestine. I don't give a shit, okay? I'm here in America in my cozy basement. I'm sorry, you can't make me give a fuck. I don't. Maybe there is something really bad going on there between, you know, Israel and Palestine. Maybe Israel is steamrolling them completely and they're, you know, doing another Holocaust. Maybe they are, but frankly, I don't give a shit. But what I can say is that based on watching these streams, that is not at all what was happening. What was actually happening is that Ethan was expressing some sympathy for Israelis dying, and people in chat were calling him a genocidal maniac, and Hassan, instead of being like, yeah, that's a bad thing, they shouldn't say that, he was like, well, you know, I see why they're saying what they said, man, like, you know, you can't get mad at that. Which is shocking, because Hassan, on one hand, will do that and act like, you know, oh, well, you made that bed yourself, and then Hassan will also pester and moan and about Ludwig making fun of him for 1 second, leading Ludwig to have to take down an entire video about it. I've talked about this like 5 times on my channel at this point. It's all out there. We have the clips. We're going to play in this, obviously, but Hassan's not in any position to have an issue with someone complaining about chat, calling them a genocidal maniac, given his behavior.
As a streamer myself for almost 6 years now, on how hard it really is. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I would look. I just.
Oh God, it's just like. What's funny is you haven't even addressed this again since then. I know. It's just an opportunity for every single person to be like, look, guys, I'm a content creator. I'm really privileged. Like, yeah, dog, we all are. We all talk about it all the fucking time.
What did I do? What'd I do? Because I'm a mogul male? I feel like everything I said was fine. Am I crazy? Farmed for views? Oh, well, I mean, that's the deal. I'll just pull them out of the thumbnail, and then I feel like it doesn't really matter much, right?
And so Ludwig didn't just change the thumbnail like he said he might do. He took down the entire original video and remade it. He then lied and said the real reason was because the video was not performing well.
What's up? If you guys didn't know, that was a mogul mail that I uploaded yesterday. You might not have seen it though, because I took the video down. The video was called, "Do Streamers Have Hard Jobs?" And the reason I took it down is because we had a great sponsor on it. But the great sponsor wasn't getting great views.
But we do have an edit to this post, which is interesting, so maybe they'll clear it up. They say, edit, source for you genocidal weirdos claiming my post is fake and anti-Semitic. I am Semitic, you losers. Suck my giant brown pee-pee. Why? Listen, as amazing of an offer as that is, I'm gonna have to decline it this time. Maybe I'll take you up on it later, but for this, you know, period of time, I'm gonna have to decline that. I'm also Jewish. In my mind, I'm Jewish. I like, you know, I like Jews. I like that they have money. Getting to the point though, I do get that workplace abuse can definitely be a problem. Not gonna obfuscate that, okay? Screaming at employees and threatening their job and shit like that is not good. It's not a nice thing to do, and I don't think you should do that as a boss. But this clip is like not bad at all. If this is what you think is workplace abuse or like harassment or like even over the line at all, then frankly, you can't handle being outside of your bedroom, and I hope that you never leave your house again because the world is far too dark for you. It wasn't even a particularly mean clip. It's not like he was calling this employee, AB, a piece of shit or calling him a terrible person or like threatening his job. It's just him expressing general frustration with what AB did. And if you actually watch the clip, you can hear him perfectly describe what AB did that pissed him off. AB wanted Ethan to watch a video that Ethan didn't want to watch on his show because he only had 10 minutes left, and he wanted to go home so he could see his children. I don't know if any of these people have had like jobs ever, like I don't know, we'll just pick something normal like a restaurant job or something like that. You ever seen The Bear, bro? Huh? Get the back to work. I personally cannot claim to be the king of employment because the last time I worked like a real job, it was not even really a real job. It was me working at a restaurant during high school summer break. So I'm not like someone with a long history of working at these companies. I'm like not normal. I'm abnormal, if anything. Okay, I'm a fucking YouTuber. But what I can say is that for my experience working in a restaurant and from other people's experiences working in restaurants, you will know that the level of anger people reach when orders are not going out on time, when Expo fucks up, when the dishwasher isn't getting dishes done on time to then be used for cooking or whatever else, you know, serving dishes, whatever. The level of anger is crazy because there's stress that people are under. And people sometimes say things like, hurry the fuck up and do your fucking job, because they're frustrated with the fact that, you know, in the workplace, things are not being done the way that you want it to be done and people are not having their orders fulfilled. It's not workplace abuse to express frustration and anger over someone not doing their job fast enough or well enough or doing it the right way. Like, I can't imagine any of these people working any job that requires any level of work whatsoever, or like having a boss. Like, these people should be cat sitters or something, like if they can't handle any level of stress from working somewhere. Obviously, it's not cool for your boss to like hit you over the head with a fucking anvil or something, or you know, hook you up with a Wile E. Coyote Acme bomb treatment and send you off a cliff. That's not cool. But like, what is happening here is just not even close to like verbal abuse. It's just him being like, hey, why the fuck did you do that? I don't like that you did that. I've told you this before. That's a normal thing to be able to say to someone in a work environment. This clip is straight up not bad at all. It could have been worse. We know Ethan. What a thing to say. He's admitting that he's capable of talking to his employees far worse than what we hear here. I fear this is just the tip of the iceberg. They need to start taking accountability. They genuinely think they're better than everyone else and have no humility. Look, I'm not like a huge fan of Ethan Klein, but once again, like I'm amazed that these people think this clip is bad. When your employee does something wrong that you don't like, you can tell them that you don't like it and you can criticize them for it, and you can even communicate that in a tone that shows your frustration. You don't have to put their binky in and rock them to sleep while repeating, "You did did nothing wrong. You did nothing wrong. You're my sweet little angel. Because if you don't communicate that you don't like something, then it will keep happening. I don't think you should like scream at them and berate them, but that's not like the word berate even being used here is crazy because he didn't berate him. He just said, I don't like that you did that. Don't do that. Like, that is not workplace abuse. Even his tone wasn't that bad. He wasn't screaming at him or threatening him or anything. He just expressed some basic level of frustration with what AB did. Bro, how am I ever going to trust the button? I don't know, man. Maybe you should just shut up already. Do these people think that everything that happens when producing content is like fun and cheery and like anything goes and like, like what do these people think being YouTuber is? I get the meme, you know, haha, being a YouTuber is an easy job, you know, whatever, get a real job meme. You got me. But sometimes people get frustrated with any job and they need to communicate it. Ethan didn't press the button because he thought it made him look like a piece of shit to communicate this to AB. He pressed it because it's a clear departure from the show and the audience doesn't need to or really want to see them discussing their issues with each other on the air. And that's totally fine. Not everyone needs to see everything. Once again, for a restaurant comparison, when you're working at a restaurant, people in the dining room don't want to hear people in the kitchen like being like, hurry the fuck up, get this person's order ready. You sent out the wrong order to this table. Now we can't use it. They don't want to hear that, right? That's not something that they want to hear. They just want to have their product. It doesn't mean that what's going on inside the kitchen is wrong or bad or needs to be changed. It just means that, you know, seeing how the sausage is made is not always the best thing for the public because they don't give a I don't know what kind of brain rot this subreddit is on, but whatever it is, I think these people need help, frankly, and they've probably never done an ounce of work in their life, and I'm comfortable saying this even as a shit tier YouTuber. But I went further down this rabbit hole, okay? I delved deeper into the mines. I was, you know, going for that pickaxe type action. I was drilling deep because I'm the mole from Incredibles or whatever. I'm the miner.
Wait, I'm 9 years old? I'm 9.
But I wanted to find out more about what was going on here, and this is when I stumbled across a new area of the internet that I was unfamiliar with. The H3 Snark subreddit. Now, this is a place entirely dedicated to hating on Ethan Klein. And this is not an audience of people from the old days of Ethan's content when, like, I was watching him more when he was making, like, silly commentary videos that were really funny that we all know and love. No, these are people who are mad that Hassan Piker left the show, hate Ethan's old stuff, and they also think that Hassan was in the right with how Leftovers ended. The best kind of like way I can characterize the H3 Snark subreddit is like people who would think that the In Praise of Shadows video about Wendigoon was good. Like, to this day, they would defend it. That is the kind of area we're in here. And the shit that they say is way funnier than what we just read. Why is he being so rude? Does he think he's the only person ever to have life outside of work while his work is sitting in front of a camera for 3 hours a few times a week? It feels so hostile for no reason at all. And it was supposed to be off camera. No wonder he has no fucking friends. 100% he bitches everyone out this way when he thinks no one's listening. These people are genuinely psychotic. Ethan expressing his frustration over something is seen as him being so hostile. And they think that this employee is some kind of like victim of him. He needs to speak out about his experience. Hila is so useless. If she wants to hurry home to her kids, she can. That's not like she contributes anything to the show at all. She just sits there. The crew obviously does all the work, and these two assholes just show up unprepared and complain. Then go home to your kids, Hila. I don't know how anybody in the crew doesn't feel like shit, especially AB. He cannot possibly be that desperate for an LA job to deal with this type of treatment. How spineless do you have to be? They're calling the guy that they see as a victim spineless. Like, this is nuts. Wow, man. Yeah, I mean, who would want that job, okay? Who would want that job? I mean, you get to work on a live podcast about stupid internet drama and get paid to do it, okay? Something not a lot of people get to do. Wow. I mean, Jesus Christ. And not only that, but some horrific war crimes happen to you, okay? Ethan says he doesn't like that you keep pushing him to react to more stuff because he wants to go home to his kids. I mean, that is just, it's frankly worse than the Holocaust. I mean, it's just absolutely disgusting, man. I don't know how anybody tolerates this. Like, Jesus, it's terrible. This is extremely toxic. Oh my God. They are love bombing and gaslighting him live to just save face with their audience. And instead of apologizing, he has the nerve to say, that button f***ed me. Like, yeah, because you got caught being nasty to your employee. I don't like AB, but I've been a part of a toxic work environment that absolutely destroyed my mental health, and this literally makes me sick to watch. Dude, what kind of fucking loser do you have to be writing something like this? Love bombing? Gaslighting? I feel like I stumbled across some kind of dark rabbit hole here that I like was not meant to see. This is like stumbling across a dead body in the woods with like a briefcase of cash next to it and like a minion toy, a Skibidi toy even. It just doesn't make sense to me, man. Like, why am I even here right now? Skibidi, I feel like the H3 Snark subreddit is not made for me. I feel like I shouldn't be seeing this right now. It's not for my prying eyes.
Yo, I swear, Tom, they really be spitting on there. You missing out.
Really? You think that?
They speak highly of people like you who use slurs.
Whoa!
Everyone in there is based. You might be too fucking gay.
Hey, don't say that! Now, the author of the post on H3 Snark also put some sources here for a bit of a timeline of stuff going on with the show and employees leaving. An employee named Cam was on the show for some period of time, and he explained on the air why he was leaving.
Cam, why are you leaving? People are wondering what's happening.
So I will say right off the bat, this has been planned for a while. We didn't want to have it linger in over the show. I just wanted to drop it my last day. I got a job offer closer to home, moving out east.
Pushing east.
Pushing east.
That's where the sun rises.
Is our home.
Sure is.
Kind of I'm gonna go private a little bit for a little bit of time. Just want to be a yay-sayer to life and take opportunities as they come. And that's all I have to say about that. But, you know, I have so much more to say about all the great times I've had here with all of you guys. I'm sorry to be, I hate being a bummer, man. I want to smile. I want to, you know, play with birds and stuff. I'm sorry that, I know a lot of people are bummed about this. You know, it was a great show before I came, and it would be a great show after I leave.
Won't be the same.
Any contribution I have to it, I'm extremely grateful for. This has definitely been the funnest and coolest gig I've ever worked. So thank you for giving me this opportunity to be here.
I'm so like perplexed. Why is this even here being cited as if it's like a bad thing? The guy literally says he got another opportunity closer to home that he wants to take rather than be on the show. And he then goes on to glaze the H3 podcast for a minute straight talking about how much he loved being there. I mean, he could be lying, you know, maybe being on the show here when he's talking about why he's leaving made him not want to shit talk Ethan in front of the audience and get him into some bigger drama with their fans or something. But if this is the case, I see no proof of that. I see no proof of this guy being mistreated. So I don't even see why this is listed here. Like, it's kind of being put here to imply that this is a bad thing, and it seems kind of dumb. He explains here he chose to leave for a completely reasonable reason, and we even see here that he said he loved his time working there, and we have no indication of anything else going on. But that's not all right? Because then we have this post from an ex-employee named Chantal, not the lolcow Chantal, the other woman. That's a different woman. They posted this on Instagram, reposting someone else's tweet, I guess, saying, "My best skincare tip is quitting your toxic job." To be honest, this is a nothing burger, unless you have some more context as to how this job was toxic or bad, like a bad work environment. If some more proof comes out of Ethan being a actual definitive piece of shit, I would love to see it, and frankly, I'd love to make a video about it because that'll be fun for me. I'm all ears. But I personally wouldn't read into this too much, especially right after someone leaves their job. Like, they're gonna be pissed off and probably have a very negative view of events, maybe even a skewed view of events, sort of have the opposite of rose-tinted glasses. And on top of that, who knows what toxic means to this person? Like, toxic is a word that anybody can say that is like a catch-all, and then people just assume it means one thing that's based on their personal experiences, when in reality, it could mean like Ethan ate her cupcake out of the fridge. Now we have this, which is Ela calls her employees peasants at a photo shoot. All right, wow. That sounds dark and bad, okay? Capitalism L. Let's see that.
Yeah, that's a classroom. The steamers and the lights, it's gonna be.
And the peasants are here.
Once again, I feel like this isn't bad. Like, it's clearly a joke. The fact that she didn't cut this comment out of the video and posted it publicly shows me that it was a joke and she didn't think too much of it. Maybe you could argue being called a peasant by your boss, even as a joke, is like offensive or demeaning depending on who may hear it. I'm sure the people on this subreddit, if they were called an employee, they would probably have a mental breakdown because that violates their co-op philosophy or something. But this seems like, once again, such a nothing burger to me, and it's especially frustrating because, you know, shitting on Ethan Klein is really fun. And like, I would love to be able to do that, but you got to have more than this, guys. Come on, try a little harder. You can take something else out of context and make it look worse. Come on, guys. Okay, you're not doing your best clip farming game here. Then we have another situation where Ethan was apparently brutal and mean to AB, his employee, the same guy from earlier. So let's see that.
Ugh, I don't like doing that anymore. Wait. Thank you, AB, for the contribution. No, you didn't say anything wrong.
What? Making it seem
People
like I
get so
said.
sensitive that they go, oh, he's being mean. So I'm like, F that. I don't want to deal with that shit anymore.
So we don't even know what he said. I mean, the clip is kind of awkward, undoubtedly, but at the end of the day, Ethan is the one running the show. It's literally his show. It's his channel's name and the fucking name. He gets to decide what is talked about and what he reacts to and how the show goes. If anything, I read this as like AB suggested something that Ethan didn't like, and Ethan was then communicating that to him and why he didn't like it, and he just didn't think that needed to be made public because, like, once again, how the sausage is made doesn't necessarily need to be made public out there. And this could be worse. We have to acknowledge that possibility. You know what? Maybe Ethan hit the button and then he called AB racial epithets for 30 seconds straight until the timer ran out. And then he was like, I love you, AB. Maybe that did happen, but I don't have any proof of that. I have no reason to believe that happened or anything rising close to that level. Like, come on, bro. When your boss is frustrated with something you're doing, he has a right to express that frustration and even call you, you know, bad at your job for fucking doing that. That's an okay thing to do. This is something that happens at every company around the world, and it has for all of time, and it's how things get fucking done. I don't see why people are tone policing Ethan here so much. Maybe he's a hypocrite in regards to his coverage of other people. Like maybe he's called out other companies for how they handle their employees and he does it the same way. Maybe there's a point there, and if he's being hypocritical, that should be pointed out, but I don't see that here, so these people should definitely post that if that happened. I have no reason right now to believe that's the case. And of course, the next thing people point out here is in regards to Israel and Palestine, because of course it is, these people are obsessed with this shit. Here's what he said about his employee Olivia in her post about Israel and Palestine.
Olivia, there's Olivia hate.
How can anybody hate Olivia?
No, actually, they're supporting her.
Okay.
But I actually need to say that this is not a good post to like. From the river to the sea, literally is the like a saying that we need all of Israel must be ours.
See, I think that's part of the problem is that people don't necessarily understand what some of this stuff means.
Yeah.
Like Olivia probably doesn't even know what from the river to the sea reference means.
Probably no. I mean no.
And I see that a lot. But people who don't know what it means all of the Jewish people will probably die.
So the caption on this post was that Ethan insulted her intelligence. Is that really what happened here? He just said he disagrees with her post. He said it's wrong. He said she's misinformed. Like I said, I don't give a shit what's happening in Israel or Palestine right now. I just don't care. I'm a drama YouTuber, so frankly, it's not that appealing to me, okay? I acknowledge that my worldview is shrunk intentionally because I don't give a f. But regardless, like this is a very measured disagreement. Based on the caption, I thought he was going to at least call her retarded or something, but he didn't even do that. Ethan once said he watched Hila crack the whip on a new hire at Teddy Fresh so badly it scared him, and that everybody knows not to cross her.
Submitted to Producadons last week. Go ahead and resubmit to podcast at h3h3productions.com.
Yes, yes.
This has been a week of typos. I've been pointing out lots of typos to people. And
Who
I'm
else?
like,
Someone
well,
here?
Not here at Teddy Fresh.
Yeah. Hila cracks the whip over there, man. It's
But I find it funny because like I'm not even from here.
Well, you're a very detail focused person.
It's true.
And you know what? Hila cracked the whip on a new hire, and it's fucking scared the shit out of me. Hila rules with the iron fist, man. Everybody knows not to cross her because she doesn't tolerate shit.
Nope.
She doesn't tolerate anything less than perfection.
I feel like the phrasing here is pissing people off because they hear crack the whip and think slavery. But like, come on, bro. This is such a benign reveal, if you want to call it that. He literally said Hila is detail oriented, and she called out an employee for doing a bad job and not being, in his words, detail oriented. Is this bad? Are you not allowed to criticize your employee's work and be like, you did that wrong? That's bad. If you hire someone for anything and their work is not satisfactory and not up to the standard you want, you can communicate that. That's fucking normal. You should, or else you're gonna have a bad product. This job, what they do is literally running a show that is public. There's a public facing aspect, and frankly, things behind the scenes need to be airtight in terms of spelling and research, because if not, that reflects poorly on the hosts and they look retarded. And clearly, I mean, Ethan has said a lot of stuff on his podcast that I don't like. I think he's, stupid. But I at least appreciate the fact that Hila is demanding of their employees in terms of like doing the job well, apparently. That seems good. If you do your job badly or not up to the standards of what your boss wants, you might get chewed out for it. I once again fail to see the problem. All right, so now we've got, after Sam announces her departure from H3, Ethan wants Sam to continue work for free for Thanksgiving episodes and live shows. So who is this in regards to? Well, another employee who left the show relatively recently, actually, is named Sam. You guys may remember her from one of my all-time favorite clips of the show about Cutie Cinderella and the deepfake controversy. Cutie Cinderella was crying and talking about how people had deepfaked her, and this happened.
If you are able to look at women who are not selling themselves or benefiting off of being seen sexually,
You're a monster, dude. You guys are crazy.
Why did you do that?
Zach, what the bro?
This face right here, this is Sam. She is not having it. She is mauling, coping, and seething, so to speak. A true shining feminist queen, if I've ever seen one. Now, I thought this video was pretty funny personally, and a lot of other people did too. I mean, I joke about everything, so I don't really see the issue here in joking about serious subjects. But Ethan felt bad enough about it because apparently Cutie Cinderella and Ludwig were upset about it to the point where he ended up apologizing for it. And I mean, it was a really cringe apology. Let's just be, you know, real about it. Didn't need to happen.
Someone who I actually really want to support may have felt worse on an already difficult situation because of my careless and very, very inappropriate and gross and stupid behavior, right?
This guy's acting like he just killed someone while like speeding in a school zone. Brother, you made a joke, all right? It's fine. You don't need to apologize for that. And this is like one of the cringiest things about Ethan these days. He apologizes for nothing. But apparently Sam had so much issue with these jokes being told on the show that people began compiling all the time she made that kind of like, face on the air. All of her disapproving sort of scowls. Honestly, the more I see about Sam, the more I think she probably never should have worked there or something, because clearly some of the jokes are just pissing her off and she doesn't like it. There is clip after clip of her apparent disapproval.
And I'm even going to throw you guys some curveballs. Sam voted yes. Zach voted yes.
Look at that face. Like, what is that emotion? What is this? It's not quite disappointment. It's more of like, I'm so freaking done right now. The H3 podcast is a prison. I'm playing it bullshit! People speculated she would be leaving the show for all of these clear instances where she was like very, it's something, you know, Ethan would say. And eventually she ended up leaving it entirely. The caption of this post is, after Sam announces her departure from H3, Ethan wants Sam to continue to work for free for Thanksgiving episodes and live shows. Wow, how horrific. I mean, let's see. He's demanding free work. Let's see that.
Though, I'll be around.
I have one request, Sam.
Yes.
You still have to cook us some nasty shit for Thanksgiving.
Oh, that'd be a nice yearly.
Are you kidding?
Dude, that's literally the only thing I'm not
I
gonna miss.
love torturing you guys.
That'd be a really fun annual.
We can keep that tradition going, and all is forgiven.
I can be the guest chef.
Exactly.
I won't be paying you though.
Okay. Yeah.
That's Cutie Cinderella's gonna pay you.
I mean,
I'll make it way worse than.
So I gotta pay her for that?
I mean, just don't put that up front. I'm trying to lobby here, dude.
It's a family meeting.
Cutie's gonna pay for that.
You get her locked in first, then you tell her that.
But you're gonna be on a salary, right, Sam? I'm assuming.
Yeah. I mean, I would. Yeah.
Obviously, right? So yeah, she's taking care of you. Damn. 2 birds in 1 fucking year.
2 birds. How are we gonna make these fucking sets of the live show, man? Fuck.
I mean, I can still do it. Just let me know. I can work it into my schedule.
Oh, for real?
We'll be good.
Do I have to pay you for that?
Oh shit.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Pro bono.
Obviously, I'm kidding. Just a joke.
Bro, these people's captions are so, like, it's not even just malicious, it's like lying. Like, obviously there's an awkward energy here, you can't deny that, and Sam is within her right to leave the show if she wants to, and clearly, like, she doesn't want to come back. But, like, this is honestly not even bad in the way that they describe it. The caption says that he tries to get her to do free work, but in the clip, he cracks a joke about it and then says, I'm kidding, right away, and he is, like, clearly joking. Like, come on, man. It's clear she doesn't want to come back to the show, and I think that is worth noting probably here, because this clip is, it's awkward as hell. And she gave the most bullshit answer when he was like, do you want to come back? She was like, yeah, you know, I'll work it into my schedule, maybe. She won't be doing that at all. I think that's clear. But this is so nothing. Like, the clip farmers are really not sending their best here. Now, something else to know about Sam Temple is that she has obsessive compulsive disorder. And I normally wouldn't bring this up, but it is relevant to the show. The reason I know she has OCD is that she did an interview about it on the NOCD website, and she's talked about it a lot publicly in some other interviews and stuff. NOCD is basically a service that aims to help people with specialists so they can manage their mental health condition better, being OCD. And NOCD even sponsored the H3 podcast for some time. They started sponsoring Sam herself when she was on the show, but apparently they started getting a lot of complaints about the show at some point. This random Redditor, who I have no proof who they are and could be fucking lying, they say they worked there and that they personally got complaints about the H3 podcast. I don't know if this guy's legit, but if you trust Reddit moderators, someone on the H3 Snark team said, OP sent us very credible evidence that they worked with NOCD. And it was confirmed eventually that this service would no longer be advertising on the show directly. The catch being that they would still be running Google Services ads on it. So instead of someone on the show saying, this is sponsored by NOCD, if you have this thing, we'll help you out, instead of that, it would just be like a typical mid-roll ad you'll see on YouTube if you don't have premium. And Ethan would talk about his frustration with this on his live show.
My point is, yeah, it's cheaper to pay Sam, obviously, than it would be to advertise on the show. So, and also it just puts a weird
tension between Sam and me.
Yeah.
Obviously, if she like,
It's super. It would be unethical for a sponsor to do that. Basically, they should not try to
go
get,
after staff and then run the ads on the show. Like I said, you guys get sponsors and work with them. I think that's awesome, and I'm happy whenever that happens. But like, if it's a sneaky way to like pay less to advertise to our audience, that I'm not okay with. You know.
And I just want to say real quick, every time I've ever asked, either for a sponsor, TV show, whatever it is, I've always been told yes and encouraged by Ethan and Hila.
Thank you, AB. I love you for that. Yeah, I mean, Sam worked with like the vibrator people, and I was like, fuck yeah, dude, get the bag, girl. Like, get after it. But if they started running ads on the podcast with like Sam with the vibrator, I would want to know like what exactly is going on here.
Yeah, because at that point, it's a commercial that is related to us, to the show.
Yeah, exactly.
It should be going through the show. You know, it's just, they know what they're doing.
Now, I will say this seems kind of unprofessional, honestly. Like, publicly complaining about how a sponsor dropped you is kind of a no-no for YouTubers in general. It permanently closes the door on future sponsorships with them if they decide to come back. And on top of that, these companies have a right to sponsor whoever they want. Their obligation is to their business, not to the H3 podcast. And if they feel like sponsoring that show could make them look bad, then they have every right to pull back from it. What I will say, though, is that people who went out of their way to pester the company and be like, hey, look what Ethan said. Look what Ethan said. He supports genocide. Like, when he does not, is like incredibly gay, and I hate that shit. It's the definition of cancel culture. Now, funnily enough, it was announced that Sam will be getting a new job after the H3 podcast, and she wouldn't be working for just anyone. She would be working for QT Cinderella. It's kind of ironic that the thing that pissed her off so much on the show, being Ethan mocking Cutie for crying, kind of like indirectly led to her working for Cutie. I mean, these are like two unrelated events, but it's just like there is some level of irony in there that's funny to see. It's like, this is like a movie. Pia Cinema. This is Pia Cinema, mate. This is Pia Cinema. Now, because of this situation, people on the Snark subreddit also began looking into Sam's origin story, meaning how she got on the show. And her origin story may shock you. Before Batman caught her and sent her to Arkham Asylum, she actually was just a fan of the H3 podcast. This was announced in an episode of the show from a while ago, but essentially the story is that Sam messaged Ian, who's one of their employees on Twitter, as like a fan of the show. They started talking online and they met in person, and eventually they started a relationship, and she decided to pack up her stuff and move to LA to be with him. She was also interested in freelance work, and she eventually got a job on the podcast. Now, you're probably wondering why I even bring this up, because like, who fucking cares? But people on the Snark subreddit started asking, is it ethical? Is this an ethical relationship? Is this an ethical hiring? And their phrasing was, I found this insane. The question being asked here is it unethical to get hired to work at the same place that your significant other works at? Especially when that person is a public figure. Power imbalance, am I right? Now, I did a little research on this before inserting my personal opinion, because I just wanted to know what the typical situation is here with corporate structure and hirings and all of that. Like, what is tradition for companies in regards to this kind of situation? Essentially, what I've gathered is that typically companies frown upon workplace relationships in general. Not always. They know it happens and it's not necessarily a problem. But for big corporations, it's typically something they don't really want to happen. But that in and of itself isn't a major problem for them necessarily. What is a bigger problem is when a superior is dating an employee. That is typically frowned upon. It's not illegal. You know, you can technically do it within the bounds of the law, but for a company, they really don't like that kind of shit. When a company sees that a boss is dating an underling, they're typically going to see it as a potential risk for sexual harassment, like holding someone's job over their head in exchange for a relationship or sex or something like that, which is bad, first of all, but it also poses a liability to the company when they have to deal with it. I mean, one party can feel like the relationship is perfectly consensual, but the other party may feel obliged to continue the relationship just to keep their job. This isn't necessarily the case. There are definitely instances where a boss is dating their employee and the relationship, you know, power dynamic, whatever the fuck, literal power dynamic in that case wasn't abused, right? But the presence of relationship between a boss and an employee does pose a certain level of risk that most companies with like a corporate structure are not going to want to deal with. So it's very common to fire someone in a management position who decides to date someone at a lower rung than them, and even conduct some kind of HR investigation to make sure nothing bad happened. But what about hiring someone's significant other, like what Ethan did? The questions we have to ask are, was Ian a superior to her? Was he supervising her? Was he effectively her boss? Well, we don't have any proof of that, but we do know he probably played some role in getting Sam a job on the H3 podcast. Now, once again, there's nothing illegal about hiring someone's significant other, but there are things that you're going to want to account for in this kind of situation, like if these people have a stable relationship. You're really going to want to avoid having one partner who's already there supervising the work of this new hire for the reasons I listed before. It poses a lot of risk for liability. You want to establish a lot of boundaries between these people's personal lives and their professional lives so that a situation doesn't transpire where, like, let's say say they break up, you don't want one of them to be able to fire the other because they're mad at them over their relationship. And I'm happy to report that as of now, we have no proof that anything of that level or nature happened regarding the H3 podcast. So hopefully these are things Ethan considered before hiring Sam, but we don't have any proof of any wrongdoing from Sam's significant other or Sam herself. If she was promoted to a level higher than him, we have literally no proof of that. So what the fuck are we talking about here? It's not inherently irresponsible to hire someone's girlfriend. She was of age when she was hired. She's never said anything about how her hiring was unethical or the relationship, you know, had problems in it that affected her work and that was, you know, tied into Ethan somehow. Like, we've never seen anything about that. As for the idea that Ethan being a public figure poses problems with that, I don't think there's anything wrong with public figures dating fans of their content as long as that person they're dating is of age and is legal. These people are both adults. They can make decisions for themselves, and they also don't need to be treated like fucking helpless children because their significant other has 10,000 followers on Twitter. To me, it's cringe to even imply that there's an inherent problem here with hiring someone's girlfriend, and it's probably coming from someone who didn't do any reading into the topic or has never had a job. And I'm saying this as a cringe YouTuber. I'm not an expert on how corporations work, so let me know if I'm wrong in the comment section, but I did a decent amount of reading on this, and I basically came to these conclusions based on that. So yeah, there's kind of this narrative I've noticed that the H3 podcast is falling apart. All these people are leaving because Ethan's a shitty boss, and it seems to me like from what we know publicly, the only people who left the H3 podcast and have any animosity potentially were Chantal, who hasn't said anything specifically about how it was toxic, and honestly, based on what I've seen, Hila probably just told her she did a bad job or something and it made her cry. From everything I've seen publicly, that's the worst thing that anyone at this company has done to an employee, calling someone shit at their job in a pretty calm tone. And then of course there's Sam Temple, who left and is now working for QT Cinderella, someone who's a lot more PC than Ethan, I think. So she'll probably be a better fit working with QT, working for the Twitch oligarchy, than she would be working for Ethan. From what I can tell, her issues with the company seem to mostly come down to the fact that Ethan made fun of people that she didn't like them being made fun of, making insensitive comments or whatever. In my opinion, Ethan, if you're watching this, I think you need to start hiring people from 4chan rather than Reddit so they can tell you about the black pill, crime statistics, stuff like that. Just get some diversity in there. You know, I notice there's a lot of white people on this show, so that's kind of concerning to me personally. And of course, I wish well to all members of the H3 Snark and YouTube drama subreddits, especially the H3 Snark subreddit. I mean, they're rightfully calling out Ethan's disgusting misogyny, and I commend them for that.
Because you're fucking tight.
I'm not tight.
You're tight. Player. Why do you think your wife beats you in every tournament?
Your mom's tight.
Oh, okay, that's
Which
too
isn't
far.
that's not
That's
even
way
an
too
insult.
far.
That's not an insult.
How horrific is that? How disgusting and horrific. Anyway, goodbye.